like, unless I heard JP, I'm over here doing my own thing.
Oh my God.
Because you all are funny.
Tawana and I put our heads together and we came up with today's voice because we wanted to represent two different women and businesses coming together to work as one.
Yeah.
So even though she owns Today's Woman and I own the Voice Tribune, showing this city that two women can actually come and work together peacefully and do more together than we can if we decided we wanted to rip each other apart.
Yeah.
I love that. And what's sad to me is that created buzz. Like, people coming together to support each other, like the way you all have, which I've been inspired of, shouldn't be the buzz. Like, that should be the norm.
You know, I guess it's easier to rip somebody down than it is to be like, okay, let's join forces and see what good we can do.
Well, it's all good. I mean, nothing but good can come out of a beautiful partnership, especially when you become friends, like you all have. But even looking at it strictly from business perspective, to me, it's genius to be able to leverage both publications.
I really like how hard he tried to get us in the same room.
Literally.
And then we were messaging back and forth.
And I would say to you, you love Tawana. I would say to you, you love Amelia. I'll never forget Tawana saying, I do love her. But JP, no, I really love her. No, but JP, no, there's something really special. I know, I told you would love her.
We were actually, with our other good friends, Patience and Erica Fields, we were doing a tour of the city.
The Queens of Rye.
The Queens of Rye. The storm started and we were sitting at a hotel in the lobby and I just thought people were overreacting because I'm like, it's just a little wind, it's just a little rain. So I'm like, of course I'm still coming out tonight. We were on the phone, we were all talking to Amelia and I remember pulling into my driveway. Oh my God, I had like 13 trees down, no exaggeration. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna be able to go to this event. And I go in the house and I realize that the power's out. And so for me, when I think about the type of person I am, which people either love me for it or are afraid of me for it, is I immediately tend to be a solution helper. So my power's out and I'm like, oh, I don't know, Amelia, my power's out. And she's like, you can come to my house. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, am I like talking to myself? But for the first time, honestly, I never knew what it felt like to be on the other end of someone who genuinely wanted to help with no motive.
Right. Well, and that's where you and I have learned from each other.
Big time.
Because we do share similar values, as does Amelia, knowing her. Like, we're people first people, but you're so transactional. I've learned a lot from business from you, because I've never been in business like this.
One of my favorite things is when people call me and they're like, I have a problem, like, I can solve it. What is it? Tell me what it is, because like I probably have a plan B, C, D, and E. Let's go. Very rarely do I look at somebody and be like, I don't have a plan C. I always have a plan B. Because you gotta be able to pivot.
And you pivot. You do pivot well.
Well, there's no need in panicking.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in the middle of a terrorist attack. Like, I mean, that's an eye opener. Yeah, perspective. Like, that's an anthill. Like, we'll just pivot. We'll move. It's not the end of the world. We'll keep going.
Yeah. I know you're proud of yourselves, but do you all feel the power of the decision that you made to work together? Do you all feel the impact that made in this community?
I don't know if I feel it in the community yet, but I definitely feel it between us, because I know at the worst end of any moment of any day where I need a breather and to talk to somebody, I know 10 minutes into our conversation, one of us is going to start giggling our asses off and making us realize that there's something to be learned, something to go forward with, and something to move past, and that's...
She's gonna make me like cry right now thinking about that, because I'll never forget, we had another event and we were trying to get ready to go and we were in her basement, and as I'm getting ready to head upstairs, she stops me and she said, you know, I see you like a big sister. Like, I see you. And I felt the same way, but you know, you just have to be careful, right? With your own heart, regardless if it's a friend or a romantic relationship. And in that moment, I'm like, no one has ever said that. Like, no one has ever trusted me enough that wasn't my true sister to say that. And that meant so much to me in that moment. So I think now, after losing a sister in 2019, and she was that person that my sister really took a lot of my deep secrets to the grave. She was someone that I could call no matter what, say whatever, embarrassing, scared, excited, and I knew that I could leave it there, and it was a space of no judgment.
Right.
So to inherit that, and it's something that you were trying and we weren't getting it, to inherit a sister.
I knew you all would get along. I didn't know you all would become like married. I knew you all. I knew it would be a beautiful thing. I just knew it in my heart.
I think the funniest part is literally people are constantly like, wait, they were at this event together. They were at this event. I don't understand. They're going to all these events together, and I'm over here like, well, it's more fun for us to go to an event together.
I'm here for it.
And then our husbands, we both love our husbands. We both love our husbands. But they don't want to be there. They don't want to be at every event.
I love the chatter. And the chatter is real, and I love it because what you all are doing is defying the norm. Like, you all have done something that most people don't do. You know, they compete, they work against each other.
Can I say something there? I want to correct that. It's not that most people don't do, most people can't do. And I think the reason why most people can't do is it takes a very person that is solid with themselves to look at someone else who is beautiful, smart, and capable and cheerlead them on.
That's what I was about to say. It's being the ultimate cheerleader. And the thing is, with the city, I don't know if they're getting this from us, but we're their biggest cheerleaders. Yeah. It doesn't matter if someone is doing good.
Well, in your
good. Let's celebrate it as much as we possibly can.
My first cheerleader in Louisville.
The cheerleaders are the
Your
ones
family
that
was my
help
first cheerleader,
lift.
and that's why it's a beautiful thing to me. I don't take these things for granted. I've always said to people that you put people first. Everything else is figured out. Business, relationships, mistakes. But if you put people first and you're consistent, it all comes around. And that's why I think when things like this happen, it means something to me because I've had my own adversity.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say is that it also speaks a lot when I say that you've got to really be comfortable with yourself. For you to say, I know how powerful this is and I want this to get together anyway is huge. It's huge because it could have been, some people I think do things with a scarcity mentality. Like they're so afraid, like, well, what happens if these two end up getting together and I'm on the outside looking in? And so often people miss their windows of opportunity because they're too busy having a scarce mind. And then look what ends up becoming a part or what's born out of it. And you were right about who we are because we said, yeah, we realize that there's a future for us, but let's bring our friend with us.
Yeah, you all compliment each other. I just didn't know how much you all would be like 1 a.m. at my house, me begging you to get the fuck out.
You can tell me so angry. And we're both like, oh, we were having such a great conversation, we forgot to leave.
I think he was
Literally,
so shocked
I was so
and
tired,
confused,
so
like,
sick, and
it's 1 o'clock.
I walked in Hill Street thinking, oh, finally bedtime. And then I saw a purse, and I'm like, they're still here.
Oh my God. That is so funny.
Well, and I think what's really magical about the trio, so I mean, I've known JP since I was 8 years old. I grew up with JP. The trio that we have is absolutely incredible, and I think that there's nothing, I mean, heck, you don't have photographers, I don't have, this one's got, what? Like, huh?
Between the three of us, we got it.
Right, like.
No, really.
And that's like a theme that keeps constantly playing, and I think that's going to be really powerful.
You're the mermaid. I'm Appalachian Homo, and that's Black Girl Magic.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Oh, mermaid.
Well, Chris called you a mermaid earlier, so I just stuck with it.
So here we are. I mean, now Today's Voice is born. You know, I'm still owner of Today's Woman, a standalone publication, which some people have totally confused and had you listed as the owner of Today's Woman.
But that's good. And that is good PR.
Well,
sure.
I mean, after the 12th phone call of reiterating like the same long spiel, which is why it's like really important that we're having this discussion now so we can actually explain to Louisville what we're doing.
Yeah.
People are confused, but I thought you had JP Davis Partners. What are you doing with Tawana? What's at your business? Well, what are you doing with Amelia? I'm like, well, we're all working together.
That's a part of the business.
100%.
That's a part of it.
If I want to own 6 companies, that's my prerogative.
Right, and if I want to own 2 and she wants to own 5.
If we want to do something with the Queens of Rye, that's our prerogative.
That's our prerogative.
Someone say Queens of Rye. But I mean, seriously. I mean, that's what people have to learn is that more can be accomplished working together.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Simply put.
as smart and strategic business people, right? If we were more concerned about the rhetoric or the talk instead of, hey, sharing resources means a more profitable organization, that's just smart.
It's good business.
It's just good business.
And also, it's our choice who we do business with. It's our own individual choice who we're friends with. It's our own individual choice who we network with. Like,
Well, and wouldn't you rather invite 2 media publications or 3 or 4 that at least get along, that you know work cohesively and communicate?
Yeah.
are you insinuating building an empire, a media empire?
I'm not
Are we
going
hearing it now?
there. I'm not going there yet, but what I'm saying is, why can't all these different media companies be friends in Louisville and be able to work together? And the other thing is, if you know that Tawana and I work together, you're like, oh my God, we're covering 2 different demographics. They work together, they communicate. I'm gonna look at her and be like, we're gonna get this angle, she's gonna get this. You're asking like a military army version of media that's, you know, planned and articulated to come in and showcase every angle of what they've got. And by all means, you know, Wave 3, WHA, any of those that want to be a part and have conversations that's productive and not competitive or, you know, tearing each other down. I'm very much...
You're writing a new playbook.
Well, what I'm saying is, we need to suck the poison out of this city of tearing people down and say, why can't we work more together?
Yeah. And I think to that point, I mean, so it's not just media, right? Today's voice is, how do you take a person's brand and elevate it using the tools that we have?
I love talking about the power of the pen. Okay, I'll give you an example. If you've ever been to Aesthetics and Jewelry and you walk in, Jamie will give you a pen with aesthetics and the phone number. Those pens will be found all over Louisville. In fact, actually at my wedding, to demonstrate the power of a pen, people have been walking around with pens from my wedding, with our wedding date, with people I don't even know. And I'm like, how did you get the pen? Well, my friend gave it. And I'm like, well, that's from my wedding. As simple as a...
Smart.
Well, it's one of the, I mean, talk about business cards. Those pens, those get shoved into purses and they are more likely to stay intact than a business card is, because they'll get ripped up and people whip them out. And not only that, they're flashlights. You can't get better than
I freaking love
that.
those pens.
I love those pens.
I can't wait to produce some of those for us.
I love the name Today's Voice, not just because of the connection between the 2 publications, but the metaphor of today's voice, like what you're defining today's voice is.
You got it. Today's voice can be anything from the power of a pen, t-shirt, anything, and then the merchandise behind it that backs any corporation that chooses to purchase it gives them that power to realize that they do have a voice and to use their voice. That is one of the biggest lessons I've learned in the last year, is owning a business called The Voice Tribune, and the voice of Louisville is finding my own voice. And I've been definitely shy to come to the platform and have one, but I also wanted to make sure that if I had one, I had something good to say.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, because you don't want to waste somebody's time.
Nope, never.
Cheers to the future, cheers to turning heads, and cheers to breaking glass ceilings.
Cheers. Cheers.
Did someone say the Rye Queens?
No, it's the Queens of Rye.
I'm sorry, the Queens of Rye.
Queens?
Can you picture this? One day soon, this crew is going to go on the road promoting spirits.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.